Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, my name is Atiqah binti Ahmad Sukri and my metric number is 1629640. So today, my partner named Asnida and I will be presenting about the importance of literature in the age of science and technology. Living in the age of science and technology, there are too many people who believe that literature is not simply an important or underestimate its own abilities to test the time and give us the great knowledge. There is also a stigma in our society that implies one who is more inclined toward maths and science will somehow be more successful in their life, and that one who is more passionate about literature and other art forms will be destined alive with low-paying jobs and also unsatisfying career. To me, however, literature serves as a gateway to learning about the past and also give us the great knowledge and understanding of the world. Literature also is more than that because it really gives us a huge impact on today's world by educating people through learning the subjects of literature. Firstly, literature is important in this present era because we can learn about the past life. History is not only a gateway to the past, but is also suggestive of our present and the future. Within every time period lies different people, and within them different stages of our ever-growing culture. Literature allows a person to step back in time and learn about life on earth from the one who walks before us. We can gather a better understanding of culture and have a greater appreciation of them. We learn through the way history is recorded in the forms of manuscript and through the speech itself. In American literature, we learn about the racism in the movie entitled The Help, and this movie focuses on three women in 1960 in Jackson, Mississippi, named Evelyn, who works as a nanny and also a housekeeper for the Lefford family, Minnie as an outspoken maid, and also Skeeter, a recent college graduate. Racism manifests in the life of the black maids in a number of ways. They are denied opportunity for educational or professional advancement. They perform repetitive work for white family. They must settle their speech to prevent violence, and they must use a separate facilities in the house. In the movie entitled The Helps, portray how the black maids needs to use a different facilities such as the toilet because the white family afraid that the black maid will give the disease towards the white children. Perhaps most damaging of all, the black people are constantly exposed to the messages telling them they are dirty, lazy, and is all respect less than white people. From this movie, it shows that the issue of racism towards the black people happened in the past and it's also relevant until today's world. So it is our responsibility as an English major to produce something in order to change the perceptions of the society towards the black people so that they are not being treated unjustly just because they have the different skin color. Secondly, literature also educates the society to learn about other people's culture. Literature acts as a form of expression of each individual author. Some book mirrors the society and allow us to have a better understanding about the world that we live in. By learning a literature, we as a student has the opportunity to learn about a new culture that totally different from our own culture in our own country. Different country has its own culture that makes the society look unique compared to the other society. We can have a clear picture of the culture by reading the books and also the poem written by the different author. Rather than reading book written by people we identify with, adopt a practice of reading book written by different people from a different culture. This also helps the learners to have to learn about a numerous fact about the culture. Further, we also be able to identify with the culture better. The society also can minimize the stereotypes that occur among them when they are learning the literature because everyone is different and what's true for one person may not be true for another. For instance, I learned about the culture of India when I read the runes and other stories written by Tagore. The writers also portray some of the culture that is still relevant until today, such as the dowry system and also the status of women among the Indian society. The dowry system in India is different from Malaysia because it requires the woman to pay the dowry towards the man's family. A girl also is considered as a liability to this family because of the prevalence of the Indian custom, which is the dowry practice. Parents also will not send their daughters for a higher education because it uses a lot of money. Indian parents prefer to save money for their daughter's marriage. On the other hand, the dowry system that have been practiced in Malaysia requires the man to pay the dowry, and it is the man's responsibility to find the money to pay for the demanded dowry. Also, the issue of women oppression still exists in India until today because women are not allowed to further their study and also contribute to their own society in their own country. They need to stay in the house and being submissive to their husband by doing all the house chores such as cleaning and cooking towards the family. Thirdly, literature also somehow improve our writing skill as it requires the reader to read a lot, and the author of the book usually use the high standard of English when they are writing the book. When studying literature, students can learn not only the language aspects such as the vocabulary item, but also the language can be used for specific and aesthetic purposes. Familiarity with the concepts of beats, meter, and rhythm can improve their own writing as the students are able to appreciate and apply this idea. Apart from that, the study of literature also can provide the student with a fresh and creative angle with which to approach their studies in particular and their life in general. Literature also not only expand your vocabulary, but it also help you to write articulately and coherently. This means that the student will be able to write in a clear sentences that flow well and are easily understood using a correct paragraph structure and also grammar. We can write in sophisticated sentences and adjust our writing for different readers, such as those who are in the workplace and also those outside of the workplace. Furthermore, we also will learn how to be concise in our message and present ideas and arguments in a meaningful way. This skill helps to strengthen our communication skill either in written or verbal for all future job prospects. Reading classical novels such as Shakespeare is used as a tool to expand one's vocabulary and also critical thinking while improvising our writing skills. By reading a science literature, students are exposed to work and writing style that, if studied carefully, can be used to shape one's communication skills in speech. Classical novels and plays prove to be a great sources through which one can increase vocabulary and also increase expressions in different and interesting ways. In my own experience, I improve a lot in my writing skills by learning the subjects of literature because it requires us as the English major to read a lot novels, poems from different authors and also from the different era. I know how to construct the ideas in a proper way. We know that most of the classics novelists use a high standard of English when they are writing the book. So, it requires us to find the meaning of the word through the dictionary. So by doing that, we acquire a lot of vocabulary that can be used in the present future writing. So that's all from me. I pass the floor to my partner, Asnida.
Thank you, Sister Atiqah. My name is Nurul Asnida binti Mohammad Ridzuan and my metric number is 1618394. Next, I will continue the presentation on the importance of literature in the age of science and technology. Some people said that literature is not important because it is wasting people's time, especially those who do not take English literature as their cup of tea. For them, literature does not give any benefit to them in the current and future life, specifically people who are taking science and technology as their field of studies. Forcing people to take something that it is not their interest at all will lead to the negative impacts because they think that it is meaningless. So why bother to read if you do not like it? In my opinion, reading literature is important in the time of science and technology because it creates understanding in knowledge among people who are having one language that can be understood, which is English. Fourthly, literature is important in the current world because it voices out inhuman character in the writing. Protecting nature under literature can fall under the category of eco-criticism. Eco-criticism is one of the new approaches in the literature works, that being the voice of the non-human, which is nature itself. Humans tend to build more concrete buildings rather than plant the plant itself because they are taking advantage of nature without considering the bad impact. If they continuously ignore the nature, nature will kill humans in their own way. That is why society nowadays realize that nature is important in the literature. The relationship between literature and the physical environment is vital because it helps to promote the eco-consciousness in the mind of readers about the existence of Mother Nature. The rising of anthropocentric, which considering human beings as the most significant entity of the universe, is circulating around environmental debates that make eco-critics aware of what humans have done to the earth. One of the texts that can be analysed under an eco-criticism approach is Nation, written by Terry Pratchett. Nation can be analysed through a few approaches that relate ecocentric values with the Anthropocene to see how it gives perspective in highlighting the relationship of the study of literature and nature. In the chapter 2, the Nurul explained about the detail about the importance of nature by describing how the water was flowing from the top of the mountain and how Mao used his hand to stop the water using that was covered with mud and sand. The feeling of nature, by embracing it, gives Mao a sense of peace and tranquility because it makes readers feel exactly what is going on in the story. Thus, the importance of literature on nature already been explained in detail as it affects science nowadays. Lastly, literature is important for technology because a writer does not need to waste their time on pen and paper to write thick pages. Literature changed the old norms which were before this. Literature is written on the natural products like on the stone, leaves, followed by the written on the books. However, in the current era, literature can be seen as the important text in society like movies and films, websites, advertisements, commercials, billboards, and many more. Before this, people have to go to the library or buy books from the bookstore to have good reading. However, with the increasing use of technology, people love to read the literature in the digital form in which they only search it from their own laptop or scroll it from their phone. It helps the earth save their plants because of the digital form of literature. People nowadays do not need to travel here and there to increase their knowledge on literature like before, as the endless opportunities and knowledge continue to flourish all over the world. Literary world continues to evolve and age into the whole new age as it aligns how people adopt with digital transformation. For example, Al-Quran was collected in the material form of paper, cloth, bone fragments, and leather. How it evolved from the time of the Prophet until the time of technology, when nowadays we can read Al-Quran on the printed version and on the even in the applications too. Therefore, the importance of literature in the technology era really helps people a lot because it helps nature too before being exploited more and more in the future. In conclusion, from our video presentation, it can be seen that there are 5 important aspects of literature which we can learn about the past through literature. Other than that, it educates society to learn about the variety of cultures in the world. Literature also can improve our writing skills because it requires the readers to read a lot, because usually the author of the book uses standard English when they are writing the books. Literature also can be nature's voice, and last but not least, it helps people to explore literature in the digital form.